What's up, guys? I'm Josh Mosiman. Welcome to This Week in MXA, episode number 164, presented by O'Neill Racing. Thank you guys for tuning into this episode. It's kind of fitting that it's our 164th episode because the number 64 of Austin Forkner got a big win this past weekend at the Detroit Supercross. Also, Jett Lawrence became the first two-time winner of the 450 class this year in 2024. Very exciting racing there. In this video, we're going to preview what's coming at the Glendale Supercross, talk about what happened at the Detroit Supercross, and what the MXA Wrecking Crew is up to. Let's dive into it. Starting off with Detroit Supercross, let's talk about the podium. Austin Forkner, Max Anstey, and Daxton Bennick, top three. Congratulations to those guys. Awesome run at Detroit Supercross. Austin Forkner, we all know his story. It was talked about all throughout the TV broadcast. Heartbreak last year, back to the top at the first round this year. He's training with Ryan Hughes, and it looks like it's paying off. I know he was doing more unique training and more slower speeds, more technical work leading into the season this year, trying to be more like Jett Lawrence. He even talked about it in the press conference. The Jett isn't always wide open all the time. He's more calm, reserved. It doesn't look like he's trying as hard. And Austin Forkner mentioned that he's trying to take a note out of that book, the Jett Lawrence book. So I think everybody is nowadays with how impressive Jett has been in the 250 and now 450 class. So Austin Forkner, congratulations to him getting the win at the season opener. Max Anstey, his team is small but mighty. They're from Australia. And it was kind of funny. He mentioned that his team is so invested in Australian Supercross and the FIM World Supercross Championship that they pay him the same bonus check to win those championships, which he did last year, as they would if he wins the AMA East Coast Supercross Championship, although it is 10 times bigger than both of those championships or more. So kind of funny about the Firepower Honda team, but it's cool that they're investing in him and keeping him happy to go racing all around the world. Congratulations to him and Nathan Alexander. The Firepower Honda team, they are based out of MTF. MTF is really close to the Star Racing Yamaha facility in Cairo, Georgia. So the Star Yamaha team and Max Anstey, Dean Wilson, all the MTF guys have been kind of correlating and working together where MTF riders can go to the Yamaha track, Yamaha riders can go to MTF. It just adds more tracks, benefits for them to ride together throughout the week and improve their speed. So obviously that worked out for Max Anstey. Now he's in second on the podium. Huge jump up on the championship. Also, Daxton Bennick, awesome to see him. I first met him when he was 10 years old at his house in North Carolina. I got to ride at his track while I was traveling to the Nationals in 2016 and 2017. Cool to see him on the podium now at his very first Supercross race as a rookie. Awesome family, awesome kid. He's more quiet and shy when the camera comes out for interviews, but he's a super nice guy and he works hard. So congratulations to those three. Also congrats to Cody Schock. He represented the Club MX Yamaha team after Jeremy Martin got a concussion in the heat race, and also after Jett Reynolds separated his AC joint in his shoulder during practice leading into the race. So heartbreaker for Jeremy and heartbreaker for Jett Reynolds. Both of those two riders are recovering from their concussion and shoulder injuries, and they plan to be back racing at the Arlington Supercross, which is the next round for the 250 East Coast Championship. The series has a little bit of a break right now. They're going back to Glendale this weekend for the West Coast riders. Then they take a whole weekend off. 250, 450, everybody's taking a weekend off, and then they go back racing at Arlington for the East Coast round. So a little more time will hopefully help Jeremy and Jett get healthy again for that race. Also, massive crash coming into the first turn. Heartbreaking to see, especially with so many championship contenders, really putting a huge damper on this series straight from the beginning. Of course, Hayden Dinga was one of the riders that went down. Tom Vial flew across the front of multiple riders in that first turn. Evan Ferry got a face full of the Detroit Ford Field Stadium. That was heartbreaking for him. He did end up with a concussion. Cameron McAdoo got a hole in his pants. Seth Hammaker, he went down hard and finished last. Couldn't complete the race. A couple other riders that went down, Jay Leak Swoll and Pierce Brown, but they picked it up and were able to finish respectively in 5th and 6th place. So congratulations to those guys, gaining lots of points on their competitors after that first turn wreck. Also, the Brazilian Enzo Lopes was missing in action this weekend at the Detroit Supercross. Star Racing Yamaha rider posted in Spanish on Instagram, but what it sounds like happened is he actually went in to have an arm pump surgery done in the off season. It was supposed to be a 2 to 3 week recovery and he could be back on the bike. Arm pump surgery is where they go in and open up the veins in your forearms. It's not something I recommend. I know multiple guys who have had the arm pump surgery and it didn't work and they still get arm pumped. So not something I recommend. He went ahead and tried to do it. Now it's taken him a couple months to recover. He's still not back to 100%, and that's why he missed the Detroit Supercross. He is back riding though, and he's hoping to be 100% and ready to go for Arlington Supercross coming up in 2 weeks time. Getting into the 450 class, the big topic is Eli Tomac. He started the main event in 3rd place. He looked like he was going to be able to put on a great charge. Unfortunately, he dropped all the way back to 10th place by the end of the main event, almost 11th, but he ended up 10th place just at the end there. He was in in third place until lap 7 when Ken Roczen passed him, and that's when he slowly started dropping backwards. A guy on Facebook posted about it. This guy is said to be one of Eli's old trainers from back in his 65-85 days. His name is Larry Morton. He said that he talked to John Tomac. Now, I don't know if there's any truth to this, but I'd like to hope that there is some truth to this. He was saying that John explained to him that his rear shock has been failing late in the motos, especially on tracks that are a little more sticky like it was at Detroit. There's a lot of traction, which means a lot of weight and a lot of force going into that rear shock. Eli Tomac, he rides hard, he gets on the gas hard, which puts a ton of load on the rear end, and with that, he's saying that they actually were breaking shock shims, and his rear shock failed him late in the race. That's why he was looking down at his bike and basically letting his competitors go, falling all the way from 3rd back to 10th place in the race. So I hope that's the problem. Obviously, it's all rumors. I reached out to Yamaha. They could not confirm or deny. Totally understandable. They don't want to admit something like that, and I understand that, but I hope that that was the problem and it wasn't anything else. Obviously, we've seen Eli Tomac have bad races in the past. We know he's mature now. He's a 2-time Supercross champion. He's not going to risk his life or his body for one race at a time, knowing that he can make it up later as long as he's comfortable. So hopefully the Star Racing Yamaha team gets that figured out. It's going to be a hard packed track at Glendale this weekend, so I don't expect we'll have that same issue because he won't be putting as much load on the shock because it's more hard pack, more skatey. He won't be able to hit the gas as hard this weekend. So wild for Eli Tomac to finish 10th. Eli Tomac is now 16 points back in the championship behind Chase Sexton, who is the new points leader. Chase Sexton has a 1-point lead over Jett Lawrence, who got the win at the Detroit Supercross. He is a 2-point lead over his teammate Aaron Plessinger. Cooper Webb, he is now 6 points back after finishing 4th in Detroit. Jason Anderson, he is 5th in the championship, 14 points back. Ken Roczen is 7th in the championship, and he is 21 points back in the championship. So Ken Roczen has a lot of ground to make up. Either way, it's still very exciting at the front of the pack. New winners so far each weekend. Jett Lawrence became the first 2-time winner in the class, and we're headed into Glendale this weekend. Hopefully we see another new winner and more excitement at the front of the 450 class. Before we talk about the Glendale Supercross coming up this weekend, I want to say congratulations to Crossjumper 325 for winning the MXA Fantasy League app this past weekend at the Detroit Supercross. He picked the top riders and picked the best teams to earn the most points at Detroit and also win the grand prize of the Insta360 Ace Pro camera, the brand new camera from Insta360 that just came out. So congratulations to Crossjumper 325. This weekend, looking ahead, we are giving away a full Acerbis USA plastic kit to the winner of the MXA Fantasy League. So get your picks in this week. If you haven't yet downloaded the MXA Fantasy League app, it's free to download, free to play, and you win awesome prizes every weekend. We also have a big shakeup at the front in the top 10 of the championship standings. These guys are going for the Super Motocross Championship. After all 31 rounds, we're giving away a Triumph 250 TF250X. I still got to get used to saying that. Triumph 250, we're giving it away to the winner of the championship. Also, Maxxis Tires is putting on brand new tires for your truck or van, the vehicle you take to the track. For second place in the championship and third place, we're giving away a $500 shopping spree to Boyson Racing. So excited to do that for you guys this year. If you haven't downloaded it yet, get signed up now and win the Acerbis Plastics this weekend. All right, so looking ahead to the Glendale Supercross this weekend, we are back to a normal format with 250s starting the day off, 450s ending the day off. Last weekend was a unique format, as I mentioned in our video, because the race was shown live on NBC. They wanted to start the day with 450s and end the show with 450s. Kind of weird, but it made for some interesting racing. This weekend, back to normal format, back to a normal time schedule. The opening ceremonies is going to start at 6 in Arizona. Racing will start at 6:30 in Arizona. That is racing at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time and 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure to plan your day accordingly. Also plan your MXA fantasy picks accordingly. We close 30 minutes before the races start. We close when opening ceremony starts. So make sure to get your picks in before that. And this weekend, looking ahead at the Glendale Supercross indoor stadium at the State Farm Arena, and it's a pretty exciting one. I actually raced there. That was the first Supercross that I did back in 2018. Massive stadium, massive floor, makes for a huge track, and it's pretty cool to race there and be on the floor. They make the track very wet and slippery in the morning though, especially for track walk in the first couple qualifying sessions, because it is pretty dry in Arizona, and they try to get as much moisture into the dirt as they can in the morning so that it holds throughout the evening, doesn't get too hard packed and slick. This weekend will be very, very different from Detroit. Detroit was soft, and rutted and very technical track. You could see the rhythm lanes and the jumps were very rutted. This weekend won't be as rutted. It'll be very hard pack and slick. The track layout is very, very unique though. We have 4 long rhythm lanes going all the way across the entire stadium, and all 4 of them have a bend in the middle of them. Pretty interesting there. We have one of them has a triple into a jump into a whoop section. The other one that leads into the finish line is actually a whoop section, slightly turning double into the finish line. I think that's going to make for some close racing on the final laps of the heat races, LCQ especially, and even the main event. Hopefully we see some side-by-side action going to the finish line and the checkered flag. Also, we got 2 sand sections. They're going to be sand turning across the start and then back into another sand section. That will make things interesting. Jason Anderson, he did very well at Anaheim 1 and 2, a little more hard pack tracks. I'm excited to see him this weekend at Glendale. I think he does well on hard pack. We've seen it in the past. In the 250 class, we have 2 red plates, Levi Kitchen and Jordan Smith sharing the points lead there. We also have RJ Hampshire, who is 8 points back in the championship, and we have Garrett Marchbanks 14th points back in the championship in 4th place. An impressive Suzuki is in the top 5 in the 250 West Coast Championship standings. Anthony Bourdon, he's a French Supercross rider. The Barx Suzuki team brought him over from France. He only had a couple weeks on the bike and he went racing and is doing exceptionally well in the 250 class, so congratulations to him. He is 29 points back, but he's still holding in 5th and beating a healthy list of factory riders, including Joe Shimoda, Nate Thrasher, and other riders who have struggled at the first couple rounds. All right, guys, in other news, it is pouring down rain in Southern California, so I'm glad we're not racing at Anaheim or San Diego this weekend. It's in Arizona. There's a covered roof over the stadium, so no mud this weekend in AZ. Glad for that. I'm planning to race this weekend at the Mammoth Qualifier at Glen Helen on Sunday. Practice on Saturday, race on Sunday at Glen Helen, so I hope to see you guys there. Also getting ready to race my first ever GNCC race. It's the opening round of the GNCC Championship at Big Buck in South Carolina. That's coming up 2 weeks from now, a week and a half, I guess, from now. I'm going to be racing it on a stock Yamaha 450 with the Yamaha crew. They didn't want me to race the pro class. They said, hey, let's race the Sportsman A class and try it out there. I believe it's a 2-hour race. But if you guys have some advice for me, let me know in the comments. I'm excited to go do that. Should be fun. It's going to be an eye-opener, I think. I've raced a couple off-road races here on the West Coast, but GNCC, nothing like what we have here on the West Coast, so excited for that. Hope to see some of you guys there. If you're watching this video and you'll be at that race, let me know in the comments as well. Getting ready to ride the new Triumph 250 soon. We just posted our Honda CRF 450 Works Edition video. If you haven't seen that yet, check it out on our YouTube channel. Fun times riding that bike. Lots more tests coming to the channel soon. Also, I did some riding out in the desert this past week. Got a clip from that. Let's head there now. Good times in Southern California when it rains. YZ250F 2024, all muddy, and AHM suspension. Can't see it, but it's underneath the mud right there. Good times, getting some laps in. Getting ready. I need to start getting some more fitness in me. The Nationals last year were pretty rough, especially pretty much the #1 reason is because I wasn't in good shape. So trying to get better shape this year. Also, I got some new Velo strips. Have you guys seen these things? They're pretty interesting. It's a little strip that goes right across your forehead. Try to keep some sweat out of your eyes. I need to get a haircut, as you guys can see, but I always sweat a lot in my eyes, so gets in my goggles and stuff like that. So I've been trying all kinds of different things. If anybody has any tips, if anybody's tried, not Velo, Vio strips, if anybody's tried these before, let me know. Give me some tips. And if you have any other tips, keep sweat out of your eyes, I'm all ears. All right, guys, that's all for this week in MXA, episode 164. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you in the next one.